Hey everyone, welcome to the latest demo scene for the RPG Barbarian Pack PBR. This is a pretty long demo because there's a lot going on, so let me just dive right into it. The thing we're adding this time is music and sound effects. So let's start out with the basics. We've got different lighting setups so you can see what the characters would look like in different lighting scenarios. So here's a sunset look, and we've got some front lights. That's lights from the very front. And we've got point lights, so this is more what they would look like in a dungeon environment, something with point lights and colored point lights. So you can see how their skin and armor and clothing reacts to the colored lights, and spotlights for top-down spotlight look. So we'll stick with the daytime lighting. In the demo scene you can control the rotation, the camera height, and you can also adjust the camera zoom. It's actually zoomed into a empty object in the middle between the two characters. So one thing to note is that we do have the grip weight of the left and right hands. Obviously, if a character is holding a sword, you want them to be gripping it all the time, and if they're not, you want it to be open all the time. And so we give you that option by allowing you to adjust that. If you check out the demo scene itself, you can see in the animator the layer we use for that, and you can check the code here about how to adjust that. So that's pretty simple. We have different faces, so we'll look at the female first. Let's zoom in just a little bit. The female selection is face A, B, and C, and male selection we've got A, B, and C. Now, this is going to be updated at some point soon with blend shapes, and I believe if we do it right, we're going to have one face that can be modified in many different ways to get thousands of different faces. So that should be updated soon. And hairstyles, we've got female hair A, B, and C. So ponytail, long hair, and short hair. Male, we've got the short hair, long hair, and this buzzed cut. So we'll keep the defaults for now. So the skin tone is something you can control like all the other textures in the editor, but for demo purposes I've included a bunch of different skin tone options preset for you. There's a blue one, that's nice. So you can get pretty much any skin tone you'd like to get from the characters. Hair color, same deal. And again, hair is something I'm working on a new shader for. If you've been exposed to my spiders or the upcoming bats, you'll notice they have fur, and the fur looks very nice, very realistic. So I'm going to try do a similar shader for the hair, custom shader, so that the hair will look better in the future as well. But for this demo, it's not yet ready. So there's a bunch of hair colors as well. We've got the eye color. It's hard to really see, but there's different eye colors you can use as well. And then we get to the different wardrobe. So the Barbarian pack comes with a huge amount of wardrobe. All of these things here. The checked ones are the ones that are on. The unchecked are off. There's a whole bunch you can do with these guys. So you've got these armbands right here. Actually, you know what? Let's start nude. Alright, so the characters can start in the nude, and we start with undergarments for each. Each one has their own unique undergarments, and the female has the undergarments for the top. Then we've got different things. So the vibrants on the left and right are the metal add-ons to the armbands left and right. No, not armbands. Bracers left and right. So there we go. So you usually want the bracers on if you're going to have the vambrants on. Otherwise, you can turn the vambrants off, or you can just have one or not the other. It's up to you. We've got pants, and of course, if you've got the pants on, then you're probably not going to want the undergarments on. And then we also have, let's see, a skirt. So if you want the skirt, you can keep the skirt with the pants, or you can use it without, your choice. And with the skirt, we also have this really nice gladiator belt to go along with it, if you so choose. And with that, we have this belt sheath. It's hard to see right there, but it's there, and the dagger pouch to go along with that. And I feel like we're missing one thing from that belt. Maybe we're not. There are so many things. We've got the helmet here, and if you have the helmet, you'll want to turn the hairs off. I'm also thinking about working on a shader that can hide some but not all of those vertices, so we'll see about that, but that's future stuff. You got the armbands, which we looked at earlier. Boot flaps left and right. Wait, what about the boots? So turn on the boots left and right. There you go. Now we got boots. Turn off the flip bats, get completely different looks out of those. We also have with the boots the shin balds and the sabatons. So the sabatons go over the feet, shin balds go on the shins, and that creates a new look for the boots, an armored look. Let's see, we've gone through the vambrance, these little, I don't know how to pronounce that word, but they're little flaps that go on the bottom of the belt, and if we've got the skirt, or the skirt on, we can turn off the trousers, and look at that, and if we got we turn off the skirt, and it looks like that. We also have gloves for the left and right hands, and along with the gloves we have an add-on on top for the gauntlets. Now you'd probably want to use the gloves with the gauntlets because otherwise you got the bare skin under there, so they go together. But you can use it without the gauntlets if you want a less armored look. We've got this falge, which is a belt thing that goes underneath the gladiator belt, and you can of course use it without the gladiator belt as well. And if you turn off the gladiator belt, you probably want to turn off the little flaps as well. Let's see, this quarter, this is the arm or elbow armor. Cloth tasset can go underneath different things. If you could use it without the trousers then and get a more barbarian look, barbaric look. And so we'll turn that off for now. Cloth tasset. And what else do we have here? The barbute. We've looked at that. We've looked at those. We've looked at those. Knee pads. Nice knee pads right there. That's helpful. And with those they have the polans, which is the armor to go on those. They have the pauldron left and pauldron right. And we also have a manica. If you use the manica, you probably don't want to use the pauldron right. So you can use that as well. And look, the armband sticking out too, so you probably want to adjust that. So the pauldron left can be used by itself. The pauldron right's kind of an add-on to that. And then we've got the spalder as well, which is going to be used without the pauldron. Spalder chest, and the left and the right shoulder. So now you can use just one and not the other because the little clips only come from the shoulder parts. So you can use both. Without the one of the shoulders, this kind of looks funny because it would probably fall. You can use one or two of the shoulders or both. So there's a lot you can do with the wardrobe. So that's that. We'll check the music out in a second, but let's go ahead and look at the animations here. Alright, so you may notice that there is sound effects. So let me turn this music off for now. And the sound effects you might notice are somewhat sparse, especially if you've been used to my other packages. This is just, some leather movements, some generic leather movements, and some metal movements. You can mix and match, so of course if you don't have any metal parts on the character, you probably don't want to use the metal movements, but for the demo purposes I have a variety. So these are the generic attacks. We also have barbarian attacks and some bow attacks. So let's go through the generic first. The reason why the audio sound effects are somewhat sparse, there's no weapon swishing sounds or whatnot. I have this medieval battle sounds package, and this sound effects you can get for $25 if you haven't signed up for infinitypbr.com. Otherwise it's $45. Totally worth it. It basically has a whole bunch of different individual clips, like swishes, clangs, splats, and you can mix them together to randomly during runtime to create a variety of different sounds. Basically, each one has different weapons and different types of attacks, basically. So if he's using a spear, it should sound different than if he's using a sword. And if you're attacking something that's fleshy, like a frog, it should be different than if you're attacking something that's metal, like a robot. So I've excluded those sounds from this package because it makes no sense to include some sounds when I've got that other amazing package right there. So that's why the attacks and the sound effects might be somewhat sparse. So we also have walks. Now, there you go. For these, you might hear a variety of different sounds because the walks are actually set to be layered, and although the ground is just a dirt ground, you might hear some basic generic walk with, right now we have a gravel sound on top of that. So they're both being generated randomly at runtime, so you get a lot of different combinations and a somewhat more natural sound for the walks. So for the run, this is a running on wood. So you can hear that add-on for the run. And this is a water. So of course there's no water here, but if they're walking in water, there's these splashes to go along with the footsteps. So we do include footstep sounds and a variety of different sounds, so you can get the right sounds in different environments. So cast 1 here is a constant looping sound, and you may hear at the beginning there's also an intro sound, and that fades out. The particles are included as well as my full particle package as well. Here's cast 2. So the sounds for the magic are somewhat generic. They might work with some looks and not with others, but I would hope that you create your own magic spells, and if these sounds work, then great, you please use them. Here's our death animation. We have a different death too, so we'll go with that in a second. Got hit. Now, we also notice there's no grunts or moans. The problem with this is they're human, and that means I need to get actual humans to do the voiceover work, and voiceover work is somewhat expensive. So I'm in the process of making other humanoids, and to save money and make it more the sound effect creation more cost effective, I want to do them all at the same time, which means booking people for to come into a small little studio system and record stuff, including a bunch of lines and actual words and stuff. So that's going to be sometime in the future as well. So that's this grab weapon from the back sound and put a weapon away. Look right and look left. Those are just simple things. There's nothing too extravagant about those. We've got more attacks. Apparently I didn't add any audio to that one. Now these sounds are actually generated on the particles themselves, so they travel with the particles. This is just bring the dagger out, bring the dagger back. Another death animation. Again, there's multiple layers that you can use. Some kicks. Running jump. Taunt. And then we've got the bow animations. Again, there's no audio here because of the sound effects has these audios. The bow models come from the Weapons and Armor Pack number 1, which you can get from the Asset store or from my own store. There's a crossbow model in there too. I don't know why it's not here, but the animations are there and work with those. Alright, so that's all the animations. Let's go ahead and look at the music. Alright, so what you're listening to now is the default snapshot. This is pretty much the composer's mix for the actually I don't know if it's the composer's mix. It's very similar to the composer's mix, but it's basically all the layers are up to full volume here. And there's, I think, 15 different layers for this package, and each one controls one layer of the songs, such as the choir, men's and choir women's, the harp, the piano, etc. Now I've created a bunch of snapshots for you. The song itself is 3 minutes 40 seconds or thereabouts, so you can hear the difference here. Andrew's mix is the one I made that I kind of like. And we've got these other alternative snapshots too. So I'm going to shut up for a little bit and just go between them. Since the song is somewhat long rather, you might not hear too much of a difference between them, but there is actually a substantial difference between the all 8 of these. So right here, I mean, the difference between Alt 6 and Alt 5 is really stark, right? Then I switch to snapshot 4 here. So a big difference between all of these, and I want you to understand that you can create a lot of different sounds from this one song. You know, in some of these, it's much more, you know, full, and then you switch to this, and it's very ambient. You know, this almost reminds me of Final Fantasy, actually. Then this one gets rid of that harp, so it's a little quieter. Then we've got the violin that comes in. The violin's not in this one. So really, whatever you're trying to get for your game, you could probably get something pretty close with using the audio mixer and just upping and downing the different options here. So, you know, you bring up the double bass. Apparently that's not playing right here. There we go. So we got the folk drums that comes in only one part of the song. We got the choir here that's playing right now. If you take it out, during this section is just very quiet chimes. It's really great. Or you can bring those choirs up a little bit. It's the sustained strings. And I should point out that not all of these are playing throughout the entire thing. This Celeste, for instance, only plays for about 10 or 15 seconds throughout the entire song. So there's a lot you can do with it. I hope that makes sense, and I hope that you actually end up using this music, because it's actually quite exciting the way you can do so much with it. So the human's going to be updated at some point in the near future, I hope, with blend shapes, mesh morphing, and also new hair shader, and what was the other thing? Was it just the two? I think it was just the two. And those two things. So look for that, and for now, enjoy the music and the sound effects, which is a new update to this pack. Thanks. Have a great day.